right. All right, I think we should go ahead and get started. My name is Rich Brown. I'm a sortition advocate from San Francisco, California in the US, and one of the facilitators for INSA, International Network of Sortition Advocates. I'll be moderating the presentation today. We are recording this event and it will be posted on our YouTube channel, and you can find a link to that along with a link to our website and a link to join our Discord at the very top of this chat. You can also access the YouTube channel by going to our website, insa.site, and there's a button there that will lead you to our YouTube channel. So if you want to refer this presentation to anyone, we welcome that and ask you to do it in that way. For those people that are unaware, INSA is a volunteer organization aimed at connecting pro-sortition academics, advocates, and activists around the world to share resources and tactics and advance the theoretical understanding of sortition. We established our Discord server 4 years ago. Actually, February is our anniversary for starting that server. And as I said before, an invitation has been posted at the top of the chat for anybody that might be interested in joining us and join the conversation about sortition and also learn from others. There are many very intelligent and engaged folks on the server, so we look forward to having you join us. And as I said, also there's a link to join our email contact list via our website at insa.site. So all of that is on the top of the chat. We ask that you keep your mics muted, if you would, through the presentation until we get to the questions section of it. So today's speaker is going to be talking about Democratic Odyssey, and the title of the presentation is Towards a People's Assembly for Europe, Democratic Odyssey, Progress and Future. Andre Gavura is a telecommunications engineer who became an advocate for democratic reform after observing Austrian society being split apart at the national presidential election back in 2016. He's currently a board member of the European People's Council that evolved from the Democratic Odyssey. He is a finance officer at GILT, a society to promote open democracy. Excuse my German accents, I don't have one. One of the founders of DACH, how was that? Bolletino Group for Sortition-Based Politics, and part of the coordination group of this organization, International Network of Sortition Advocates. If you have questions, Andre has requested that you wait till the end of the section that he is presenting. There will be 2 sections of today's presentation. And I should let you know that Andre has soldiered through to be here today. He has a touch of the flu. And instead of presenting as he normally would, he is going to be probably reading his presentation. But let's welcome Andre and to the presentation today, and we look forward to it. Thanks, Andre.
Yeah, thank you, Rich. Good evening, morning, and day to every participant here in this room. My name is Andre Gavura, as said by Rich, and I was and still am part of the 2 initiatives I would like to present today. One is the Democratic Odyssey, and the other one is the modernization of the nation voting system. So let me start the presentation that you can also watch a little bit beside that. Okay, so let's start with a short overview of the Democratic Odyssey, which will cover the points, the idea and how to start such a project, the preparation of the assembly and how to recruit the participants, then the Odyssey itself in 5 moments, the charter that was created during that Odyssey, and at last but not least, the question, what comes next? The main question in 2023 arose how to deal with falling participation in Europe. Do the European Parliament or European Commission really represent the European citizens? Do the citizens care at all? In their paper, Should the Citizens' Assembly complement the European Parliament, Calypso Nicolaidis and Rainer Bauberg draw a path to potential reinvent, evolve, or enlarge the current democratic systems. Their suggestion is simple and bold at the same time. Build up a permanent citizen assembly that should offer true participation for the European citizens. As such, assemblies have already become known and in some areas already are established in national political landscapes, such as Iceland, Ireland, Australia, Belgium, and others. So why not bring it to the next level, the European one? The pilot run was designed as a traveling assembly with 3 stops and 5 participative moments altogether. It had a modular framework to elaborate different components at play in transnational, participatory, and deliberative processes, and crucially, the debates and conversations that gives rise to it. This established the basis for the design and choice of the participatory and deliberative rules as tools that are key to the performance and ultimately the institutionalization of a European People's Assembly. As soon as this was clear and the Odyssey should take place, the question arose about the participants and how they should be chosen. The following chart shows that to some extent. You can find the detailed description at the mentioned link below. Just as a quick recap, it had 2 spheres, a transnational sphere and a translocal one, with 4 pools each. The first group was asked to attend all sessions, whether online or on-site. The latter to attend all online sessions and those on-site in the cities where they live. The pools consisted of the following participants. Pool 1, members were randomly selected across all of the European Union through civic lotteries. The Pool 2, members were randomly selected from a pool of citizens who had already said yes to a previous European Union panel or assembly. Pool 3, members were randomly selected from a pool of alumni citizens who have already been part of a panel or an assembly. Pool 4, there were members that were randomly selected from a list of members of transnational civic society organizations. Pool 5 consisted of members who were randomly selected from all Greek residents in Athens and Attica. Pool 6, members are randomly selected from the pool of non-Greek Europeans living locally. Pool 7, members are randomly selected from the pool of non-Europeans living locally, who can be migrant workers, expats, or refugees. And Pool 8, members were randomly selected from a list of self-selected members of local civic society organizations. The Greek group members were the host residents welcoming non-locals in all 4 of those groups on the first step. In Florence and Vienna, additional local residents were selected. As mentioned before, the Democratic Odyssey was carried out in 5 main steps. The start was in September 2024 in Athens, where the picture was drawn what the Odyssey should look like and what topic it should cover. So the idea was to create a charter for democratic crisis management, and that was the path that was drawn. The second moment was the first online session, where further participants have been brought in. The first moment was analyzed, and the path drawn for the third moment. The assembly had its third moment in Florence in February 2025, where the participants drew the next parts of the charter. The fourth moment was an online participation in April 25, where the recommendations were drafted and the path was drawn to the final moment. This was when the Odyssey arrived in Vienna in May 2025. The Vienna Assembly was about finalization of the recommendations and creating a final draft of the charter. So what is the Charter? The Charter consists of 10 pathways towards crisis resilience. Being involved is also our responsibility as citizens, our money, our choice. Nothing about us without us. Educate to anticipate. Collectivity and self-organization are our power. If people relocate, democracy must follow. Transparency is non-negotiable. Care is at the heart of democracy. Harness technology, unleash collective intelligence. Not everything has been invented yet. Each pathway has 4 parts: the principle, a requested change, the tension for those changes, and steps to be taken in the future. You can read through the Charter on the link below. So, what comes next? In Vienna, the Democratic Odyssey elected the board by lot. 12 people were drawn to be the heads of the Democratic Odyssey board. The first meeting of our board were about how to work together and give our board an identity. This was done by choosing a clear name that also represents our work to be done, the European People Council by the Democratic Odyssey. This was chosen in a systemic vote, yes, no, and don't care, after a list of more than 40 entries and an extensive online pro and con discussion of nearly each entry. The next action for us is to fine-tune the Charter, especially the steps that need to be taken. Our other task is to follow the central request from the beginning. Draw a path to permanent citizens' assembly in Europe, not only the European Union, but the whole Europe. For this, we're drafting a cooperation document, how to get people on board and keep them involved in drawing that path, as well as setting the steps in motion to really create that institution. The board itself now holds bi-weekly meetings on alternate days, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, to coordinate everything and bring this vision to life. We know that this is a very ambitious and hard work, but it is a work that has to be done, and we're eager to do it. So however, who wants to join the journey, please contact us through the INSA Discord channel, my direct mail, or LinkedIn, Xing, or Facebook. We will guide you to the other resources of the Democratic Odyssey, as well as the constituent network. And now, as I've seen that some of my colleagues from the Democratic Odyssey are also on board, I'll open the question and answer section. So whatever questions you have, let me know, let us know, and we'll try to answer it.
So just speak up, or if you want, you can, well, just go ahead and speak up. I think that'll be fine if anybody has any questions. Don't forget to unmute or, well, I have some questions. Is it okay, Andre?
Go ahead.
So how is Democratic Odyssey funded?
The main fundings was actually the Democratic Odyssey was a pilot run for traveling assembly through Europe. And this was partly funded by the European Commission and other big players, or let's say big associations in the field of democratic parts, which is the Erste Stiftung in Austria and a few others. So that was quite good funded, and also the participants got also a little bit of money for participating the Odyssey, the 2 days that they were there.
So that tells me then the concept is at least somewhat palatable, or somewhat, what's the word I want to say, that the power in the European Parliament is at least open to the concept of this concept, correct? I mean, I was going to ask you what kind of support you're seeing from the current political structure in Europe for this.
There are members of the European Parliament that are in favor of such an institution or citizen assemblies at all, but it's still a work that has to be done, and discussions ongoing with the members of the European Parliament and also with the members of the European Commission. because there are two bodies in Europe that sometimes seem to work against each other, but in total they're working together. So that's.
Have you seen any organized resistance to the concepts from anyone in the European Parliament?
For me personally not, but maybe Jamila can answer that, or Theo.
Sorry,
you would like to answer?
yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, could you repeat the question? Excuse me. Hello.
Yes, hello. My question was, are you seeing any organized opposition to the idea of this assembly in Europe or in European politics?
A petition, you mean? C'est ça? If I understand?
Yeah, people that say, well, we don't need an assembly like this. We have our current parliament, and that's all that matters. We don't really need an assembly. Are you hearing that?
You know, in the European Parliament, there are few members of the European Parliament who agree on this idea because they support the citizen initiatives, etc. But the main, if I can say, the main line of the position is we are elected and we represent the citizens. So we need to clarify what could be the role of such assembly. So this is a thing to really clarify, and to there is some concern about the member of the European Parliament because they feel a sort of, if I can say, competition. You understand? So
Yes.
This is important to raise because we need to have a lot of support from other institutions. For example, there is the institution like the Committee of the Region or the Economic and Social Committee, who represents civil society at European level, and they are really in favor of having raise this this role of citizens. So and also there is a lot of association or NGO who are working also on this subject. So we are not alone, if I can say, but we need to create a sort of mainstream and to have a lot of to open a lot of doors in this European bubble in order to really put the question in the middle of the place. You understand? Voilà.
Yes.
Merci.
Thank you. Emil, did you have a question?
Well, yeah, it's a bit connected to this, but I'm going to take it from the other side. So I'm a bit surprised that the European Commission would send out money for this kind of project. So what is their expectation, if there's any expectation at all, that comes from this project?
I can try to answer to this. You know, at the European Commission level, since the Conference of the Future of Europe, they want to show that they are really open to the debate and they understand that citizens' voice matter, etc., etc. So they are supporting a lot of activities concerning the participation of citizens. And for example, they open debate in their website when they launch a legislation, for example. So they want to show that they're open to the dialogue with the citizens, and the citizen voice matter. So for me, it's logic in this spirit that she support this sort of project.
Right, but don't get me wrong here.
No.
They didn't commit to anything. It is just for them. It is just political window dressing. Then
you mean commit in which sense? There is not consequences.
Well, there's no commitment towards any kind of sortition or assembly or anything like that.
for the moment, no, because they need also the support of the member states. So it means for the lobbying side, as citizens, we need to work in several levels, not only in the European bubble, of course, the European Parliament. We need to have support there. The Commission, to make lobby, we need to make lobby in different side level and also at national level. This is very important, And for example, we could also imagine something towards the presidency of the European Union, to go there and to say, hey, for example, for the moment, it's Cyprus, which is president of the Council of EU, to make lobbying and, step by step, the idea will grow up.
Right. Well,
Voilà.
thank you.
You're
That's
welcome.
a good point. That's a good point, Emile. Theo, I saw your hand up a little while ago. Did you want to add anything to this conversation? No? Anybody else have questions about this part of the presentation, Democratic Odyssey?
I just wanted to add to Emil's question that the European Commission or the European Parliament already holds some sort, or to an extent, citizen assemblies on European level. But they had, as far as I remember, only 2 so far, and with a very, very narrow mindset. So they can. You can have the citizen assembly, but we are not bound to anything. We are not committed to anything, and if it is done, it's nice. If it's not done, it's also nice. So basically, they don't currently the position of the majority of the MEPs, the members of the European Parliament, is I don't care. I'm elected, so I do what I want, basically.
Right. Typical politician. I also noticed that Ian had a question in the chat. He said, is there any organizational resistance among the people for the idea of empowering sortition? Are you seeing any on the ground citizens that are saying, no, we don't want citizens assemblies or things like that?
Actually, I haven't seen that on my side. I mean, there are still different views on the citizen assemblies, and some argumentation is in a wrong way and probably uneducated. But that's something that we can I think manage, and that will be definitely a thing to debate and to educate the people about what a citizen assembly is, what it can do, what it can't do, and where it's good at. Theo, go ahead. You're muted.
Okay. Yes, I just wanted to.
Wait a minute.
Sorry, Theo, please.
Theo, go ahead.
Theo.
Yes, I wanted to say that it was a very unique experience to be part of this effort. Firstly in Athens, and then in Florence and in Vienna. It was the first time that we had a chance as citizens to express our opinion on political matters. And I want to thank the Democratic Odyssey for this opportunity. I even had the chance to present the social charter in front of the MPs at the European Parliament. The Greens showed some support, and also the Social Democrats, some of them were in favor of the idea, whereas the Conservative MPs said that the representation should stay should be a part of their authority. They don't want to share anything. Mm-hmm. On the other hand, on the question of where people are a bit afraid of getting involved, I can see that, especially they don't have enough time. Their job gets all their effort. And some of them are really skeptical of these ideas because they say we're not very informed about political matters. So I think there is a tendency from people to be skeptical on these issues.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jamila.
We I just would like to underline that in France, for example, there is initiative, a coalition of citizens around the country to create, also to set up an assembly of citizens near the parliament. So it's the same thing, but at the national level. Because, and I'm inside also, because we feel that the parliament, the national parliament, doesn't represent all the citizens. And the other thing is there is really a problem concerning the equality in the representation in the national parliament. And we think that in this parliament, all the class of citizens are not represented. And I don't know if you have heard about the report of NGO called Oxfam. They underline the fact that in all around the world, the billionaire, the millionaire, the very, very rich people become more and more rich. And there is a risk to the democracy, because usually this is these people who kept the representation at the national level. So it's not, if I can say, equal representation of the citizens. So this is in all around the world, and of course also in France. Voilà. Merci.
Anybody else have a final question before Andre moves on to the Venetian voting? One just really quick question, last question to you, Andre, is what's the nationality makeup of the European People's Council? Just complete curiosity about that.
The idea of the European People's Council, which is going to be, still it's not there, but the council itself should cover all people in Europe. So all countries should be involved. Currently, we have people from France, from Italy, from Bosnia, from Greece, from I think UK, and from Finland with us, and Austria, of course. So that's the board as far as it is currently now. So that's the point. Let's see also a question from Ian Stillmore or comment. Okay.
I think you addressed Ian's
okay.
Oh, not his comment, yeah.
Yep, perfect. Yeah. Okay, then, if there are no further questions, I think we should carry on to the Venetian voting system and how to improve it. So, although some of you might know what the Venetian voting system is, I will cover it with the following parts with today's presentation. So, what is it and how does it work? Changes for the 21st century, possible future extensions, proof of concept and pilot runs, and where could it be used? Venice established some democratic voting for their leaders called the Doge quite early. It is documented that they changed to an old form of acclamation by the end of the 7th century. This was done by the Arengo, a citizens' council of all people who are allowed to vote. The candidate was suggested, and people could vote by calls or gestures. At that time, powerful aristocratic families dominated already. As this system was vulnerable to unrest, manipulation, and family rule, the Serrata del Maggior Consiglio was introduced in 1297. Ruggero Zorzi introduced a lot-based system a year later. This was used until the end of the 18th century, so a very long time. So how does it work? As you can see, the system was a mix of people's lottery and election. It started by choosing the ballottino, the ballot boy. Usually this was a homeless boy that was picked from the marketplace. His only task was to pick the random names for the lottery rounds. So the first round of people were chosen by lot, in total 30 people. Out of these 30 were again 9 people chosen by lot. These 9 people had to vote for a list of 40 people, where each nominee needed the vote of 7 of these 9 people, where we had a bit over 75% approval rating. Out of these 40 people, another 12 were chosen by lot, who had the task to create another voting list of 25 with approval of 9 people. And this goes on. So we have 9 people, create another list of 45. Those 45 had also approval rate of 7 people each. Out of those 45, the last 11 people were drawn. These 11 people created the last list of 41 people with approval of 9 people per nominee, which meant more than 80% approval rate. And the last group had to finally find the best candidate for the Doge, who needed at least approval of 25 people of that last council. The only difference to the votings before was that all potential candidates were put in a ballot box. When a name was drawn, it was announced openly and people could object. If there was no objection, the vote started and everybody could say yes or no to this candidate. So it seems quite complicated, but it took in general several weeks, a month, to get the Doge elected. But the advantages were obvious. The lottery-based group could not be directly bribed upfront to vote for a certain candidate, because it was never clear who would be in the group. Additionally, if a family member of one family was already in one of the lists, either by lot or by election, a second member could not be put on the same list. Nevertheless, there were enough agreements beside the Serrata del Maggior Consiglio that some preferred candidates were somehow pushed anyway. So, what would be improved to fit the needs and the possibilities of the 21st century? Since 2019, we in our association work to modernize it and make it usable for the 21st century. The first difference and improvement is that people by lot or election should come from all citizens, or should be from all citizens in a country or a dedicated area. For example, the whole Europe for future European People's Council. And not only from a small elite group. The nomination of each candidate should be accompanied by at least one pro and one con argument why a nominee is or is not a good choice. New moderating possibilities lead to more qualified votings, better checks and balances by the moderating team, and people involved, as well as shorter decision-making times. Institutional anchoring should include transparency, verifiability, and ethical standards, as well as traditional training possibilities. Sociocratic voting can be used as a fallback if decisions have to be taken faster. The ballottino could be chosen from all children and pupils in a country or area, which will also educate and involve into decision making. Having said all that, there are a few more changes that could be added, which means we could use software tools to perform voting decisions or the lottery. We could use software for asymmetric pro-con discussions, so that not everybody needs to be on site. And we want to make if we want to make it a bit interactive or interesting, the TV show could be created for the first and the last lottery rounds. And of course, having that institutionalized, we could work on future improvements. So, saying all that, another question arises. Has this been carried out in modern or even recent times? The simple answer is yes. Our association Guild an association to promote open democracy in Austria, has carried out 2 pilot runs already. One in 2018, with 2 rounds for the initial board in our association, and 2019, with 1 round to select the current board. Both were done in a quite short time, 2 to 5 days, due to not having that many members in the association. We are currently doing fundraising for a larger run. This needs some training for moderators, build up and speaking with potential interested people in municipalities and doing further research in outcomes. So last but not least, for what or whom can it be used? Well, there's a variety of positions in the government and governmental related companies that could take advantage from that voting. Additionally, judges for Supreme Courts, deans of universities, and in the long run, also the board of the European People's Council. Basically, that is what we think of we can do with the Venetian voting in new times in the 21st century, and we still think that with that we can lower the amount of corruption, of friends pushing friends into positions in politics, away with especially the citizen-based parts. So that's from my side. So if you have any further questions, let me know. I'm here.
Anybody have a question for Andre about this system of voting? Go ahead, Theo.
Yes, it seems like a more consensual kind of voting, but I wonder whether it's time-consuming to reach an agreement without a majority percentage.
Yeah, that's the point. First of all, we're going the way that we are not asking for approval rate, but we are trying to measure the resistance. So the lower the resistance is for a candidate, the better he is positioned. So which means we said then in our pilot runs we had a rate of 30%. So if a candidate reaches more than 30% resistance, he is not chosen as a candidate and discarded from the list. And additionally, as mentioned, the nominees where the nomination was done with a pro and a con argument for a person for that position, which means whoever nominates a person has to bring a pro argument why he wants to have him there, and to bring a con argument why he's not a best choice for that position. This gives also the best view on the candidate, and also the chance to have already a few pro and con arguments, and that shortens the discussion afterwards about that person. Emil.
Go ahead,
I
Emil.
was wondering if you are familiar with the work of Terrell Borisius.
Yes, a little bit, yeah.
Because he has quite a different take than this setup in regards to sortition. So I thought if you had any thoughts about it, how those two ideas compare.
To be honest, we haven't had the comparison for that so far. We haven't compared it so far, but because we're working on our part, on our view on that one. Markus Alram in our association is heavily working on that and trying to prepare a scientific paper on that. And as soon as this is done, then we'll probably go also to find the differences between the two approaches and where the advantages lies on both ones and where the disadvantages lies on both ones. So that's something that we will do definitely in the future. Thank you for that.
Emil, can you summarize a little bit of what Terry Terry says.
Well, what he does is essentially take apart the different processes in the parliamentary cycle. So, setting the agenda,
Right.
voting for legislation, creating the legislation, and put those apart from for different councils. Some are elected, some are self-selected, and the big one that votes on the proposed legislation that is allotted by the general population. So yeah, it's quite a different take than this setup. So I was wondering about that.
Thank you. Anybody else have questions for Andre about the Venetian voting?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
First of all, are citizens of Europe identifiable with contact information for the purposes of random selection? In other words, are there national identification systems within each country, or is there one Europe-wide?
Basically, there is a national database where you have to be mentioned, or where we have to inform where you live currently, the place of living, so that is by country. And if the European level needs a sortation-based part, then they ask the countries, okay, we need from your country 4 people, we need from that country 10 people, and so on and so on. And the local countries should then do the lottery and select from that. I mean, a lottery-based system is already here if you go to court in some extent. If you have the what is it called,
a jury?
Yeah, the jury itself. So the jury itself is selected here by lottery, which means if you're chosen to a jury, you have to go there. You have to do the first questioning, if you understand everything, if you know about how it's going on, and you're not allowed to be selected for the next 2 or 3 years for the next. So that should give them a little bit of change of the jury boards. So there is a way of lottery which are already implemented in the at least Austrian laws. I don't know for I think Jamila also said yes from that one, what I saw, and I don't know for Germany, but at least for Austria there is a lottery-based system already in place. And I think if I'm not completely mistaken, there is, funnily enough, a lottery-based system in France within the military.
Right.
Told me last time, but
yeah.
I wanted to mention something. There was 2 very big national debate by sortition in France. So it was really very exciting, etc. It was, after the famous yellow gilet strike, etc. So the president say, okay, we will organize a big national debate because we want to hear what are the what do you want as a French? Okay, very good. So it was a grand débat national, big national debate. And then there were also other process concerning, in each municipality, people could go and write the proposal concerning how to improve democracy, etc., etc. So it was amazing exercise. You understand? The problem is, at the end of the day, what the government did with all this proposal after the big national debate or the national convention, for example, on climate, etc., what the political people make with this proposal. And this is some element who feed the anger of the people in France, because they do nothing. This is a problem. They say, okay, good exercise. Now, up, we close the thing. You understand? So, of course, you could give your voice by sortation or whatever, the process. But then what are the concrete results? This is the importance for citizens to have, to see that the voice was heard and was followed by a concrete proposal. Not only to say, okay, you talk, okay, that's good, now stop. Let's us to work very seriously. You understand the thing. And this is the situation in France currently. So it's not a good situation, if I can say. Voila.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody other comments, questions? We have about 10 minutes left in the presentation.
Jamila, go ahead, Gary.
Just one more question regarding these databases of candidates for random selection. Are there commonly agreed upon selection constraints, for instance, on age? Should a person be at least 18 or 20 or 25 years of age? Perhaps an upper age limit or other constraints?
This generally depends on the random on the selection process itself. If the topic itself covers also parts that goes to where children are involved, then normally they lower the age down to 16 or even 14 years. But in general, mostly there are people only involved that are allowed to vote already, which is the voting years here is 16. The voting age is here 16, and from that on, people are allowed to go to that one. And this information is also stored in that database. But the point is, even you as a private one, or if a private initiative wants to have a randomly selected part, you have to go and get the approval from the government and from the municipality that you are allowed to write and use that data for that certain principle, for the certain sortition work.
Ian, did you want to add something?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask Jamila a question. So I'm curious about the public response to your government's like ignoring the recommendations of the Citizens Climate Assembly. Like, did that cause the people to be jaded against sortition, or did that just further entrench their jadedness towards politicians? Like, were they seeing it as, you know, oh yeah, we need to put sortition over politicians, or were they saying, this sortition is a joke?
Yeah, they have the feeling that it was a sort of citizen washing. You understand? Democratic washing, something like this. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, there was not a concrete realization from the proposal of citizens. So, of course, sortition is very exciting because whatever you are, you could be designated to participate to the debate. So it's very excited. And you meet other people, etc. You have the feeling to belong to the community. And so it was a great feeling. Super. Then you take a lot of time to think and to build all together. Super. And then you understand. So sortition, super, of course, because you touch every people from different class, working class or whatever, high level class. Okay, super. But then we need really to think more concretely what is the step forward, you know. And there was a lot of disillusion, of course. There was a lot of disillusion. So so that's it. But there is a lot of initiative from a lot of coalition of citizens at national, local level, etc., to revitalize the democracy and to based on all this proposal of citizens during this national debate, national convention, etc., and to refresh the process of democracy with sortation, etc. So voilà. Merci.
Maybe I can jump in here also. The problem is that we have is that we face also in Europe is that positive outcomes of sortition, citizen assemblies and so on are seldom or very rarely put in front of everything. So when I talk about Austria, Austria was until 2020 one of the leading countries for the OECD study that was carried out on the deliberative process and the deliberative wave. The problem here is that we had enough data to show it that things work and that we have that in place. In 2023, I was part of a round to create new laws for NPOs, for non-governmental organization, social non-governmental organization, and so on. So, and this one was really working because the university came up with 10 requests. During the process, it was not only discussed those 10 requests from the university, but was open to other inputs, and we ended up having about 23 requests in total. From this 23 in total, we ended up with a full scale document paper with and request of altogether 16. And from the 16, because politicians work there, were part of that, NPOs were part of that, civil people were there, and so on and so on. From that 16 requests, we managed to get 60% put into law for that. So that is a very good work of that citizen assembly. The problem was that it was not spoken anywhere. It was not on any board, on any newspaper, whatever. So that when I talk to people in Austria about that, and they are not aware of that, they really are shocked because they have no idea that things can change if you work together with all people in the country, and not only with a small group and hide it beside that.
Yeah.
So,
before we close the presentation, I just wanted to bring things back to the Venetian voting a bit. To me, when I heard your presentation, I'm kind of a purist. I would love to see more of that process used in selection of people in politics and elsewhere. But I also noted that it could come across to the typical citizen as being pretty complicated. Here in the US, we have a hard time even getting people to understand what sortition means. So the Venetian voting is a step much further along. However, knowing that someone is going to scientifically, you said there was going to be a scientific report, and that there are people or there are organizations already using that, I think that that's really important in order for the rest of us to be able to see practical applications of it and the value of using it. So I appreciate the information and look forward to whatever else comes out about it.
Yeah, on that one, we've been talking with many people already. We're also trying to get some people from the university on board to help us on creating a few more better data and also the next larger run. But people are quite interested if you say to them that say, of course, it's a little bit more complicated than the standard vote, but the part is that you can also be part of that and giving your suggestion in there. That helps people to understand what is it about, and then they understand also that they can probably give recommendations to a candidate from what they think could help.
Great.
And that's the point that we're trying to give that. There are also, as far as I know, a nice page, I think from UK. It's called The Ballot Boy, which describes a little bit the background and all the things of that. There are, I think, 2 already older scientific papers about that, as far as I remember. I have to check them. And there is, funnily enough, because it's a little bit more complicated, the voting, there is a paper from Hewlett Packard, from HP, the company, about the algorithms behind it, how it can be algorithmized and so on. It's quite interesting to read, because it's I think a 30-40 page paper, which all the technical thinking of the engineers behind it was quite fun.
Thank you, Andre. I just want to note that we are at the top of the hour now and the end of the presentation. But Andre, thank you for being here, especially for not feeling so well when you came, and your presentation was excellent. Anybody that wants to get in touch with Andre can do that on the Discord server for INSA, and I'm putting the invitation to join that if you're not already on it in the chat right now. I want to thank all those people that took the time to make it here on Sunday, and don't forget that we will also be posting this presentation on our YouTube channel, so you can access that via insa.site and follow the link down to the presentations, and it will be there, I would say, within a week or so. Thank you, Andre. Thank you, everybody. Have a great Sunday.
Thank you too. Have a good Sunday.
Thank you very much. Bye.